Hello, hello, hello.
Hello.
Welcome to episode 89 of the Tutus podcast. I am Nana.
And I am Rose.
And together we are
Tutus.
As you can see, guys, we have a special guest in the building. Do you know what? We've been waiting for this for so long. I think it's been like a year, almost a year.
The first time we emailed was like almost a year ago. It's October or November last year. Mm-hmm. So we're happy. We are buzzing.
We are so happy. You don't understand.
I am excited. This is Ghanaian beauty
listen,
in the house. Right? I am
listen.
just loving being here now that the AC's on as well.
Yeah. It's actually perfect. I'm so happy. I'm just so happy. I'm so happy.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah. We haven't even introduced you properly.
Exactly. Listen, we haven't even introduced you properly, but look, guys, like, you can see, you can hear by the voice, because I think a lot of people have heard your voice if they haven't seen you. This is Lady Phyll. Like, you guys don't understand how big this is. This is a big moment for us. The person who co-founded UK Black Pride. Like, this is insane.
Do you know what's funny? We normally we don't normally say people's names. We let them say themselves. Yeah, and then it's like, no, I'm doing it.
No. I feel like it's such a huge honour to have you here, you know, because I feel like we probably wouldn't be who we are if it wasn't for you, if it wasn't for your presence, if it wasn't for your visibility. The fact that you started UK Black Pride is just phenomenal.
And the Ghanaian, being Ghanaian as well.
And that validates us more than anything.
Yeah.
Well, look, I think you've got to take it as, you know, you are who you are because of who you are. Not just because of me, but because of the many different shoulders of giants that we stand on. You know, we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for our ancestors, what they taught us, our families. But I'm in the presence of greatness, so I'm bigging it up for you.
We are trying to.
This is the first time I've really sat down with you both. And I'm like, you know, I'm going to tell your girls that cuteness in the house. If I was 20 years younger, just saying.
Thank you.
Thank you. This blush.
Yeah. Blush away.
Thank you.
So we're going to play a game, because we always start with a game, don't we? But we're going to mix it up today. We're going to play Snog, Marry and Avoid, which we haven't played in a while. We're going to play like one round just for Lady Phyll, because I'm intrigued to see how, like, to know what her answer
what the type. You know it. She wants to know what your type is.
I want to know what your type is. Yeah.
It depends who's in that Snog, Marry or Avoid.
Do you know what?
Right.
Okay, I'm gonna
I've got two.
I've got one.
Okay,
so
cool.
go for it. I've got Lena Waithe.
Okay, I've got Jessica Betts.
Okay.
And I've got Queen Latifah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's hard.
I can't avoid any of them.
That's hard. That's a hard one.
Understand.
Okay. Snog, Marry, Avoid. Lena, Jessica, and Queen Latifah.
Yep.
Well, the three of them are fine, you know.
I know.
They're all fine. All
good.
three of them.
Yeah.
I actually thought you were going to throw Young M.A. in the mix.
Nah.
Have to let out my secrets.
Oh, we should have.
No. I would have had to say Avoid. Okay, so everyone knows I love Queen Latifah. You know, and when she was on BT, I was like, yes, and she spoke about her partner. So I would... Oh my God.
It's not easy.
Yeah.
It's not easy.
I would Snog. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Even I'm thinking about who would I choose?
Yeah.
I'm thinking too.
Who would I choose?
Oh,
Queen. I have to marry Queen Latifah.
Yeah, do you know?
I just have to.
But knowing that she's now sort of married off, that's like vexed me a little.
I think all three of them are married. Only two of them are married.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lena Waithe's
divorced.
Someone.
Yeah.
She's with someone.
Okay.
Marry, Avoid. I think marry Queen Latifah. Snoggling away. Oh my God. Yeah. And I'd avoid Jessica, not because she's not hot, but she's like all wifed up and happy.
Yeah, okay. That's a good one.
Yeah,
That's a good point.
point.
Who would you pick?
I'm marrying Queen Latifah. Absolutely. Not gonna lean away avoiding Jessica as well, because I can't get in the middle of her and Niecy. Do you know what I'm saying? It's just like...
Well, personally, I'm marrying Jessica. Listen, Jessica was my queen when I was in year 9. That was my queen. So, yeah, and then I'm going to avoid Lena and I'm going to snog queen.
Okay.
That's good. That's my one.
I've met Jessica, and in real life, she's really nice. She is so humble, so cool.
She seems like it.
Lena and I talk, just waiting for her to propose so I can say no, and now I can snog you. That's
What are they like in person? Like Lena, what's she like in person?
Well, I've not met Lena in person, but we speak. Really, really cool. No. Sometimes we can't believe all that we read. She's humble. She's cool.
That's cool.
And she's conscious as well.
Okay.
She knows where she's coming from.
Yeah.
She may be a bit of a flirt.
I'm
not letting out any dirty secrets here or anything, but she's good people.
Yeah. To be honest, looking at her, she seems like a flirt.
I mean, she's quite saucy, isn't she?
Yeah. So Jessica's quite. I don't think Jessica's a flirt, but Jessica's saucy too.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And she's a Scorpio, so.
Lena's
Nana's a Scorpio too.
Yes. Oh, you're a Scorpio. Yeah.
I'm evolved though. What
does that mean? Do you like Scorpios?
I'm a Scorpio.
Are you a Scorpio too?
Yeah. Amazing. I love that. Yeah. I love that.
I'm good friends with Scorpios.
Just keep it real.
Yeah.
A bit fiery sometimes.
Yeah, and not everyone likes us, and that's fine. We don't all eat my mind, do we?
Do you know what? Rosie always says that I'm really blunt. But do you know there's a couple factors why I'm blunt. First of all, Ghanaian English is my first language, so I don't blow vocabulary. That's one. And just two, I think it's just my nature, like my Scorpio nature. Just get to the point, innit?
Yeah, understand.
Just get to the point, yeah.
I think when I first met you, you could appear to be standoffish. And I don't see it as standoffish, I just see it as you're being observant.
Yeah.
When I first met you, I thought, okay, you smile, but behind that, you're probably watching deeply and intently.
That is me.
Yeah. And us as Ghanaians, we do smile a lot. We do the Ghanaian smile, we nod. Even if what you're saying is absolutely rubbish, we're like,
We do.
That's absolutely true. That's so interesting.
And I love reading people. Yes. From what they write to what they say, how they act, their body language towards me. I mean, I don't always get it right, but it's interesting how quickly people flip and change and flip. So,
especially from their surroundings and who comes in the room, who leaves the room.
That part.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. That's why I'm a bit cautious of people a lot of the time. I just sit back and observe and just like, because for me, it's like I don't really allow new people into my life. The people that I have into my life, I'm just so comfortable with and I trust. And it's so hard to trust people. Like, I feel like you do have to have good judgment when it comes to people.
For sure.
That's a Scorpion issue, isn't it? It's like I have a very, very few friends and I'm like, okay, why does that person want to be my friend? What do they want to get out of me? What are they just using me?
Do you know, we need to get into that. When we get into the podcast, we're gonna get into that. We're gonna get into that.
Trust.
Do you want to get into it straight away?
No, I want to get to know Phil a bit more. No. I want to know, like, speaking of, being from Ghana, like, what do you prefer, fufu or banku?
Oh, fufu.
What's your favourite soup?
Peanut soup.
Do you know, I've had fufu in about 8 years.
That's crazy.
I've had fufu for so long. It could be longer.
Really?
Yeah, I'm banku babe. I prefer banku, that's why.
Oh, because you like the okra.
Yeah, I like the slime.
The slime.
I love okra, but... Yeah, I mean, I don't think it loves me as much.
Okay, I understand.
What's your favourite soup?
Peanut soup, definitely my favourite. Or light soup with chicken. Ooh.
What's my favourite? Peanut soup is in Cutting Quine, isn't it? In Cutting Quine. Did you know I went to school in Ghana briefly? And when I came back, I didn't speak any English.
Same. When I was 4, I went to Ghana and I came back and I couldn't speak English.
Yeah.
And now it's gone.
So my siblings, all my older siblings were born in Ghana, apart from myself and my little brother. So they say that we're very westernized. They laugh at us when we speak the language. Bastardize it, as they say. Yeah.
Same.
It's the same. Even though I didn't speak English when I came back. Now when I speak, it's not really hitting the way it used to hit.
I'm almost embarrassed to speak, and we are not going there. We're not. I'm not going to embarrass myself, and then we're all there trying to fight for LGBT rights in Ghana.
Do you know, when we went outside, we went to the protest last week, and when we stood outside, I was so happy that somebody else did that. She's born in Ghana.
Yeah.
I think her name was Linda.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
yes.
And she spoke in Tree outside, and it was just so powerful.
It was
Right.
It was really, really powerful. But I'm glad that somebody was there to do that, because they were actually in the embassy, and we saw like the curtains twitching and stuff. And I think that hearing the dialect, they might be like, oh, do you know what? They can take it a bit serious,
They feel like
you know?
it's so far removed,
Linda's
isn't it?
awesome as well.
Yeah, they think it's so far removed. So when you hear someone speaking in that dialect and that is actually LGBT, then it just makes it, you know, real for them, I guess.
The power of language, it's deep.
Yeah.
And, you know, I guess sometimes I blame my parents because they came to this country and they wanted a better life for their children. So they send you to these schools and they want you to speak whatever the Queen's English is, and they don't necessarily speak the full language to you at home because they think it's gonna, and I guess I'm from a different generation, because they think it's going to impact your life choices or what you can navigate through.
Yep.
And I'm like, I really, really wish that you would have been hardcore with me. But they took my daughter back home, so she speaks better than I do.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and that makes a difference.
Yeah.
I always have to think, oh my God, I've lost the language. When I have kids now, like I can't give that to them. I can't give that down to them because I don't have it.
You can. So there's fancy schools.
Oh,
Wait, there's fancy schools?
Yeah, there's schools here
there are,
that are teaching fancy, and I guess, you know, the dialect's same as Tree, but yeah.
Because I was on Clubhouse, they have Clubhouse rooms as well that teach how
Don't
to...
talk about Clubhouse. I can't get into that. I'm just about understanding what TikTok is and downloading everyone's videos.
Same.
So have we given up? We've given up on the game because we're just having a chat now.
Yeah,
haven't we?
we're having a chat back. Yeah.
So we'll just do one more this or that. It's still going to be Ghanaian. Let's say...
I don't know why I'm laughing for. I
don't know why I'm laughing.
Let's say... we have to keep it. I'm going to make it easy. Accra or Kumasi. Accra or Cape Coast.
Oh.
Because you mentioned fancy, that's why.
Yeah, because my mum is.
Yeah.
Mum, Cape Coast. Dad, Kumasi.
You didn't pick. You didn't pick.
I know. Oh, Accra. I don't know. No, Accra.
Accra.
Yeah.
There's lots to do in Accra, isn't there?
Yeah, there is. But then sometimes you don't always want to be in the heart and the mix of it.
Accra gets busy.
Yeah.
It gets really busy.
Hoping to go in December.
Oh, really? Oh.
Yeah.
Do you know what my daughter asked me last night when I'll be going? Because she's been on the phone to her cousins there. I just looked at her and said, I don't know.
Yeah,
let's just give it up for your daughter and her football.
She's trying. Yeah.
Isn't it funny how we watch people on social media?
Yeah.
You know, we don't speak to each other, but we know what everyone's doing.
And feel a bit close to each other.
It's true.
It's
true. It's actually true.
And cheering each other on. I love that.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna get into this.
Let's get into it. I just want to know, like, what was it like? Because I know you're from Islington. Yes. What was that like growing up in Islington, being a black queer? Can I say that you were queer at the time?
I wasn't.
You wasn't? Oh, you wasn't?
No.
Let's get... See, nobody... I don't know
They know that.
Yeah. I'm trying to get to know
So this is the tea right now.
So, I was born in Islington. I grew up on Manor House Estate.
It was here, Manor House.
Yeah.
We just went through there on the way here. Okay.
Yeah, Manor House Estate, which they're knocking down right now.
Yeah.
And then we moved to Edmonton. Then from Edmonton... and there's lots of changing of schools. From Edmonton, we moved to Enfield. Enfield, we moved out to Hertfordshire. And then that's where I went to my secondary school, which was just predominantly white
people.
I was the only black girl there, the only black person there for 3 years. Oh,
for 3 years. So what was that like, being the only black person for 3 years? Is a long time. And in that time, as teenagers, you even go through different stages. And so how was that?
It was horrible because, you know, when your parents speak a different language, when you're like the black family in the area, when your beautiful surname is decimated by teachers, when kids call you Shaka Zulu Phil and tell you to go back and live in your mud huts and tell you that God didn't finish painting you because your palms are white, all sorts of things. It was horrible. So I guess I threw myself into books, but then I also challenged teachers and constantly getting thrown out of lessons. So Mr. Bunyan, if you're still alive today, where you threw, that was his name, Mr. Bunyan, who threw me out of the class because I was asking questions about colonization, history, why are you teaching me about Christopher Columbus, why are you not telling me about what happened from enslavement to slave trade and how things impact. They threw me out the class because I was disruptive.
Do you think those are very valid questions? Those are very valid questions.
I don't know if a lot of people was even during my time, I wasn't asking those questions. But
I was a loner, so at school I didn't really have friends. So it's you take to either reading or doing something bad.
That is so
and when
true.
you've got harsh Ghanaian parents, you don't take to do something bad. They threaten you and say they're going to shave your head off and send you back home.
They're going to finish you.
We've all been there. We've all been there. Like, so did you? So during that time, was it? You felt really alone. I assume. Like, did you speak to anyone, like your parents or anything, to let them know what was going on in school and bullying?
No, not really, because my parents. It was all about education. So you don't get into trouble. You go to church. You make sure that you're respectful to aunties and uncles, and you don't complain because you've got school. Because back home, they'll always say to you, people can't always afford to go to school. And if I was to be sent back home, they'll put me back 2 years because I'm not as smart as the children.
In Ghana,
So I guess for me, I kept it. I kept it. And there's something, if you want to know something about me, I didn't start speaking until I was 4.
Really?
I was, because we lived with, when we were in Manor House Estate, we lived with our auntie who was from the Ivory Coast. She spoke French. She had a boyfriend, husband. This is very, very interesting. I still need to question it. Who was German, that would come round.
German.
We had a lot of Jewish people around us. And then my dad speaks Tree, my mum speaks Fancy, she speaks Gar. And then there was English. So how a child's mind works is about what language do you pick up? So apparently I went mute because there were too many languages spoken in the household and I couldn't see or hear what the dominating one was. It's like, how does a baby who lives in China understand Chinese? Because it's the dominating language. So they took me to all these special schools and with all these cards. And I remember looking and I knew that it was a butterfly. But I was just thinking, why are you asking me these questions? And then, afterwards I just started talking. So, and then I haven't stopped ever since.
Look at you now, right? That's hilarious.
I remember when we did a panel at my workplace, they all just kept talking about how an amazing speaker you are afterwards.
Though. Like, I was saying that before you got here. I was just like, I love the way you speak. Like, I don't know, there's something just so like captivating and mesmerizing about just the way you speak, and then everybody just gets so involved in what you're saying. Like,
that's good. I accept that from black people. It's when white people tell me that, oh my gosh, you're such a good speaker. I finished school. Thank you. I speak another language badly, I may add.
Which language is it?
Tree.
Okay, all of us,
And I pretend that I can speak French and I can't. And I find it when they say, oh, you speak so well, oh my gosh, you're so articulate, and your diction, and I'm thinking, is it that black people are not supposed to pronounce their words?
Do you know, that's what it is, you know? That is what it is. It is. Because, like, if your shell was white and you're saying exactly the same thing the same way, no one's going to say that. I've never heard anyone say that about a white person after this spoken.
Exactly. Have you ever told a white person, oh my gosh, you speak so well? There's so many undercurrent insults in that, but coming from my family, I can get that because I'm like, you don't know how I had to edit myself and stop myself from calling that man in the front row a punk.
But I don't even know if it's necessarily even like, yes, you're articulate, but like it's just the way you speak. It's just the way you speak and how
it's the passion.
It's the passion. Do you know what I'm saying? And I think that just like takes people in. That's really important, because even talking about that, like the way we speak, I've had to just accept that I don't both vocabulary, as I said. Like, I'm not this person with this huge vocabulary, you know, like this is how I speak, and it's not about how you say, it's about what you're saying. That's important. So,
and also like to add to that as well, I feel like if we were speaking about your blackness and your queerness, for a long time I hid speaking about it. Like if I was with my friends, like my straight friends, they'll be speaking about their relationship. Obviously they knew that I was queer, but I would never speak about it around them, and it was like that with my family members as well. Even at home with my mum, in the beginning when we first started this podcast, I wouldn't really talk about it much with her and the things that we achieved. But I think when I see others speak about in different spaces and be so proud and speak about it with just with an openness, like, let me do that too. Why not? Do you know what I mean? So
and it's
that's
about
it.
the power then of representation. What you see, you know, what does Dr. Ronk say? You can't be what you can't see.
Yeah.
And it's true. If I didn't see people like Monica Beadle or Femi Otoju or, you know, Tanya Compass or yourself or doing things, you don't know if that space feels safe enough for you to speak up and speak openly. But I guess I've been out for over 20 odd years and there's still things that I do not speak about with my family.
Yeah.
You know, and maybe this is because of how we've grown. We're Ghanaians. You know, we don't
talk about certain things. Yeah,
exactly. I mean, I don't remember all my friends talking about, oh, I got the birds and bees talk. I would die if my mum wanted to tell me about where the willy goes and what this happens with the vagina, and because that just wasn't our norm. But I guess we grow up and we start to think, what do we need to change for our children, our nieces, our nephews, because we didn't get that growing up. So I guess different spaces, different places, and the passion, the drive, the commitment comes from seeing so many injustices. And I guess your childhood shapes who you're going to be in your adulthood.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. So going back 20 years ago, to the beginning of your queerness, how would you say things have changed for Black queer people from when you were looking for spaces and looking for people and that just a queer tribe? How has that changed from then to now?
Oh my gosh. So Hertfordshire was my sort of stomping ground. So I would say my coming out journey was around white people, not necessarily Black people. So when I came into London, I'm like, who's there? You know, I've been reading these books, Valerie Mason John. Who are these people? And, you know, you hear about Ted Brown, you hear about Mark Thompson, you hear about Monica, you hear about Veronica, and Veronica McKenzie. And I had to search for these people. Not that they were underground, but you have to know what was before you before you can go forward and start trying to create stuff. So I found out about the Black Lesbian and Gay Centre, found out about various conversations, Tofu, Ajamu X, and what they were doing with underground parties, and also the collection of our archives and footage and photos. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm not alone. Because whenever you come out, everyone feels like, oh my gosh, I'm the only gay or the lesbian or bi or trans in the village. But you're not, because there are those people that you stand on their shoulders. And I make it really clear that anything that I have done is not just an achievement or an accolade for myself. It's because of people that have paved the way.
Yeah.
Just as you started the conversation around, you know, thank you, you know, we wouldn't be who we are if it wasn't for you. Well, I'm thanking people as well. So I give people their flowers. I take no credit and make out like it's just me alone, because it's not. Movements are not built by individuals. They're built by a collective. So all of those people that came before, I'm like, okay, I see them, but I don't see them in mainstream LGBT media, magazines, in spaces that are primarily occupied by white people.
Yeah, and we deserve to be there.
Yeah. So I think in that coming out, I mean, and I fast forward because I haven't even spoke to you about the coming out journey, which was, I think, tumultuous. In that coming out, I wanted to see more of who we are. I also wanted to see dark-skinned Black women. This is not any slight on my light-skinned sisters, but dark-skinned Black women. Black women have had it the hardest.
Yeah.
And, I don't care what anybody says. We have been experimented on. We have been disregarded. We have been put to the back. We have been told that our beings are not beautiful and are not worthy, and we're not palatable enough in spaces. And that's why I speak so much, because I want someone to tell me that I need to stop.
Yeah. Ain't nobody saying that.
No one's gonna say that.
Ain't nobody can tell you to stop.
Oh, they have.
Oh, they have?
I mean, look, I have been working for 20 years. I haven't just arrived in a CEO or an executive director position. I started off as like, what do we call them? An admin assistant in a typing pool, making teas and coffees. And you had to be fitted for promotion. Not just apply for it, you had to be fitted before you apply. And I was always told that I'm too aggressive, too brash, and not submissive enough.
Yeah. Wow.
I feel like I don't think things have changed much. I feel like when you are assertive and you have something to say and you won't stand for something and you speak up on that, people are so quick to label you as aggressive.
Yeah, of course.
And that...
We've seen it with the Big Chill thing recently.
Yeah.
There's a restaurant called Big Chill in King's Cross. And I guess these white ladies just labelled this woman as aggressive, and she was an influencer that went there to actually review the place. And then they put out some statement yesterday, and the statement, they basically called her aggressive and all these microaggressions. And it's just like, why did you put out this statement? Do you know what I mean? Like, they just said that we weren't racist towards her, but then you've proved the racism and all the microaggressions in this statement. And it's like, it's just disappointing that we still go through it every single day. We still do.
And we always will until, until we start eradicating and dismantling some of these structures and powers and influences that be. And I guess trying to do that is the hardest thing, because everyone has an opinion on how it should be done. We talk about capitalism, we talk about structures, we talk about working class, we talk about award ceremonies. And
we can't get into that
sunshine. We talk about, how do you influence or infiltrate or be... Do you work from the inside out to change things, or do you work from the outside in to change things? And if you're not in particular spaces, how do you influence those who can actually change legislation?
I don't think you can.
I mean, it's a hard one, because we're all trying to be ethical, right?
Yeah, we are, but at the same time, you have to kind of get your foot in the door. Well, this is what I personally believe. You have to get your foot in the door to be able to actually change things from the inside.
You do. You have to. Because I was going to have from
outside. I'm loving
hearing
this, because I'm like, I'm always thinking about how, especially the next generation, because you guys are young. How old are you? Oh, are we allowed to ask?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I'm 30.
I'm about to be 30.
Oh my gosh, you're babies. I love it.
It's funny because in my friendship circle, I'm the grandma.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, I must be near retirement then. But it's always nice to hear, or not nice, it's always good to hear, how do you think change is affected? How do we do this? Because I see so much on social media, the critiques, the positives, the negatives, everyone has something to say, but how I want to ask the question, how are you changing things? Yeah, what is the solution?
Yeah, I think you're right. People always have lots to say, and do you know what it comes down to? It comes down to privilege. Like, there are some people who, they have the privilege to not get involved with certain organizations, certain stuff like that. And there's some people who are, it's strategic. There's you want to work, you want to be able to get inside so you can make those changes. As a person, I'm not a privileged person in comparison to, I don't know, like, a white woman. Do you know what I mean? I might need this thing to get me where I need to go so I can make changes inside.
Like I like to say is, we need to use their privilege for our advantage. It's like even this podcast. In order for this podcast to do what it needs to do, sometimes we need to get their audience. Do you know what I mean? And that's just how it is. And it doesn't mean that we are turning our backs on black queer people. It doesn't mean that we are saying their stories are more important or amplifying it more than it's already been amplified. It just means we are taking a little bit of their privilege, so we can benefit from it
also
too.
taking up
Yeah.
space.
Yeah.
So this is why your voices need to be heard, because you know, there's no right or wrong way to do it. And, you know, people will be angry and will be upset and frustrated about particular organisations and brands and corporates, and rightfully so, because we need to hold their feet to the flames and hold them accountable. But then when you do hold people accountable, do you not have to be in a space where you're able to speak to them?
Yeah.
If you're not in that space, where are you speaking to them? Because they're not interested about what you put on social media.
No.
They're not interested if, you know, sometimes if you're shouting outside a protest, because they're still sitting as big fat cats on the big bucks and making bad decisions, which takes them to the wrong side of history.
Yeah.
So as Baroness Doreen Lawrence is working inside out, we all benefit from her
being there
in the House of Lords. You know, a woman who's fought tirelessly for justice for Stephen Lawrence and every black person in this country. So do we critique her for, I mean, I wouldn't accept, but that's just my personal opinion. But do we critique her for accepting an accolade or an award or what do we call this thing? Or this OBE, MBE, knighthood for doing the work inside? Or do we acknowledge that she's accepted it and that's the journey she wants to take in order to make change?
Yeah.
I think it's a bigger picture.
Yeah,
like,
I think, I think sometimes you need to accept that's how they've chosen to do it. That's all. And it is down to the people's personal journey at the end of the day. Maybe that's what she wants. Maybe that's one of her goals. Her personal goals, like, but it's just not one of ours. Do you know? And it's okay for it to be different. But
you have to talk about. I think when accepting things, you have to be able to talk about the history and her story and their story behind how you want to change things. So for me, I could never accept an MBE, OBE, or CBE because it will stifle me and prevent me from talking about colonization and the colonial rule, the criminalization that still happens on our black and brown bodies around the Commonwealth. I want to be highly critical of that because that's the work that I do. And in accepting something like that means that, you know, you've bought into whatever the empire is. Even though they say there's no empire anymore, it's still that toxic legacy of, you know, why we find ourselves protesting and fighting for the rights of LGBT Ghanaians. Yeah. But at the same time, I know that I also have to enter into spaces with government and speak to Boris Johnson's advisors. You know, I may not like it, but I know that the people who are on the ground, I've got a job to do in making sure I can meet legislators. I can meet those who have power and influence and those who walk through the corridors of power. So it's a fine balance. And I guess if I wanted to be truly ethical, my gosh, I wouldn't wear leather, I would be a vegan, I wouldn't, you know, drink certain water, Nestle, whatever it may be. Now, I better not say too many names because I want you to get the sponsorship that you need for the podcast. So yeah, it's a balance. And we're not all living this very ethical life that we would probably want to in our heads. You know, it's like, who do you bank with? And do you know that they're actually, you know, in with the pink washing or actually they, you know, have such a big part in colonization and everything that happened. It's like, what do you do?
It's hard to...
there's actually a flaw everywhere. It doesn't matter what organization it is, there's going to be flawed somewhere. And I don't know, we have to just look at the bigger picture, I guess. We do have to see, we have to focus on where we're going and do what we need to do to get there. But also try to stay true to ourselves as much as we can. Do you know, as much as we can is what the main thing is.
There's always going to be people who's going to... shit. But like, it is about staying true to who you are, because at the end of the day, we're all a part of this community. And I think you can see what the intention is. You can see how much work we're doing for this community, for everybody. So I just think that it's about intention, and there's certain people who don't care about that. Certain people who just come online, they're miserable, and they just want to talk shit.
Yeah, and just the thing is, and people have a bit of an entitlement as well. As at the end of the day, we all have. I always think about my mental health when it comes down to these things. I need to do what is good for me. That's going to make me go to bed at night. Do you know what I mean? And all these requests that people have from you and all the rest of it, sometimes they do keep you up at night because you start wondering, oh, did I do this correctly? This person's going to say this. Am I doing enough? And you have to just do what's going to make you sleep at night.
Yeah.
At the end of the day,
what's going to help you sleep at night, that's going to do good for, the wider community.
Yeah.
Because as I said, it's about intention.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You said community. I feel like I'm interviewing you too. I love this.
Go for it.
Yeah,
Do it.
You said community, and I guess there's so many different communities. And I never want to set our communities apart, but
We have different needs,
how
there's a difference.
how we bring people together. That's what I find difficult. And of course, I love building movements with people and making sure that we've got like this collective voice. But it's hard to have a collective voice when there's so much infighting going on. There's so much jealousy. There's so much anger, and some of the anger is rightfully displayed because some of us are dealing with generational trauma, right? Some of us are dealing with, we don't have this space to heal, just like this space right now. Me talking with you, I'm going to get in the car afterwards and go home, and I'm going to feel like so nourishing to just have been in this space. Some people don't have that, so yes, they do take to social media or say what they've got to say. How would you like to see communities, and I say communities in the widest sense, or our Black queer communities come together?
I think that, I think initially we need to accept that there's different types of Black queer people.
Come on.
I think because you have like the alternative Black people, which I don't really know where their Black spaces are. Then you have, like the ones like the Pussy Palace kind of law. You have like different. You just have different type of Black people that have different needs. And I think in the beginning you have to acknowledge that first. We have to accept that their differences doesn't mean that they're less Black than I am or anything like that. And I think that's the main thing, because some people do see another Black person's experience or what their hobbies are and stuff like that, and they'll be like, oh, acting like a white girl. They're a Black person. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. They're a Black person, and this is what they're in. That's just what they're into.
I think Blackness is so policed, like it's, it's so
people
policed.
can revoke your Black card at a drop of a hat,
just because of maybe where you grew up or how you dress, or
how you speak,
how you
speak, what music you listen to,
who you hang around with, who's in your circles. If you're not saying something that they want to hear, that you're not Black enough, or how can you stand up and speak on behalf of us or take things to a particular place if you don't understand Blackness in its fullest?
But what is
this is okay.
Yeah, and that's where I thought initially that's where we have to start, and even that is a huge task in itself, because there's so much unlearning to do. There's so much ignorance to break down, even within our own Black queer community.
And couldn't Blackness be part of that construct of race? Because my mother doesn't call herself Black. She's African. She's West African. She's Ghanaian.
Yeah.
And I used to start saying, I'm an African woman. And yes, I'm African and I'm Black, but the Black is in the context of being in this country.
Right. Yeah. It is. Yeah.
So, I mean, you can go real deep and say, I'm not Black, I'm African.
Yeah.
That's how I want to be identified.
Yeah. I mean, it's true, because I remember one of my cousins said to me, that lives in Ghana, said, why are you guys all talking about Black Lives Matter? Like, what are you talking about? Like, they just didn't get it. And they're like, why do you keep talking about the fact you're Black? I don't understand why you keep talking about it. And she said, when in Ghana, we don't have to keep saying that we're Black.
Because they're not
like, she's like,
they're not separated.
Yeah. And then I said to them, that's because of we are made to be Black in the UK. Outside of Ghana, that's what we're made to be. Outside of Africa, outside the Caribbean, that's how they do us like that. And we've internalized it.
It's the history. I mean, the activists that I work with, they are not talking about being black. They're talking about the survival of their bodies because of how they're treated through laws that was placed there through colonial era laws. So the blackness does not come into it. It's about their country of origin and where they were born.
Yeah.
But they do say race is a social construct.
They do, yeah, they do. That's why some people are saying it can change. They can identify as black now. That's why some people are saying that.
Well, yes. And that's an interesting one because I've learned from our younger people, because UK Black Pride is called UK Black Pride, and now there's language like POC, people of colour, whereas back in the day there was a reason why black was in its political form, because in the 60s, 70s, you had Asians and Caribbeans and Africans who understood the racism that they felt. And then you also had the Race Relations Act, which also focused on Irish people as a minority. I mean, that Race Relations Act has changed. So the black in its political sense meant that we all came together with a common struggle. And that was the racism and fascism that was seen in this country. You know, there's many people that have done great work on what political blackness looks like and feels like. But today, I think, you know, the conversation around who is black is one which is a very sensitive one. Because you could have somebody who is white passing and they see themselves as maybe Latin American, but under this POC banner or black banner, they might call themselves black. And I think when you're talking about self-organized structures, people get frustrated because does that not move the black African or the black Caribbean who's visibly black out of that space? And then that voice is being carried as one that will speak on behalf of Africans and Caribbeans. But you see, I get political blackness. I get self-organisation. I know not everyone agrees with me. UK Black Pride will never, ever change its name because it doesn't make sense to, because of its brand and where it started from. But I also now have accepted the fact that we will use terms like people of colour. That we will accept terms as women of colour. I get it, and it depends on the space that I'm in. But I was trying to resist that so much.
Actually, when you were talking about, I just remembered that some people were saying that how UK Black Pride is becoming too political what black actually means and stuff like that. So yeah, I remember.
It's funny, it's funny you say that, because I too wondered when I first started coming to Black Pride. I was like, oh, okay, there's other people here, like there's other people. Okay,
yeah, you're blonde. Okay,
okay, cool, yeah. And then like not a while ago, I watched some archived films, and it was about the LGBT centre in Brixton. Was it Brixton or Peckham? Was it?
It was Brixton.
Brixton.
So
yeah. And I saw there were Asian people speaking about it, and I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Okay, so this was just everybody who was like, you know, like on the margins of society.
I'm sick. Look at me with my bum to the camera. Oh my gosh.
Everyone that was like, marginalised, they were like encompassed in one group of, black. Yeah. And that, I guess that people don't really know the history. Because, you created this, and there was a time where this was happening, you guys were all fighting for the same thing, and I guess now that times has gone on as well, like things have changed as well, like needs have changed. I saw on the household income for people, like black people were at the bottom, so of course like our needs are different and stuff, but I guess people still have to understand the history and where you've come from and your experiences and what's made UK Black Pride, and I think that's important.
And I don't lump everyone into this banner, we're all black, because that doesn't make sense. Especially in today's society, especially when we're talking about how, say, COVID disproportionately impacts black people. And who are the black people? Mainly Caribbeans and Africans, and of course Asians. But I have to decipher about, this is the Asian community, East and South Asian. and they have got their own challenges. This is even Caribbean people, they've got their own challenge. Africans got their own challenges. So when looking at or analysing where people sit, what they have access to, you do have to break it down. If you lump it under one and you talk about hate crime affecting all black people, actually hate crime affects us very differently. Hate crime affects migrants, refugees, asylum seekers differently from wherever you're from, because we might not report it. English may not be our first language, you know, the area that we might live in. So I'm just of this opinion that I will never ever police or tell somebody how to identify. If you say that you are black, we could have a conversation because I want to understand more, but I'm not going to tell you that you're not.
Right.
If you tell me you are a woman, that you are non-binary, that you are a man, that you are trans, then who am I to police your body and tell you that you're not? And of course, we'll have, you know, a lack of understanding of some of those nuances, but it's about the art of conversation and the art of listening.
Yes. And even being willing to have those conversations.
Indeed.
Because a lot of people just committed to misunderstanding you. They just don't want to hear it. It's like, I've seen from my parents, you know.
Yeah, that's something that I've definitely learned, that people are just committed to their ignorance, misunderstanding, because it just makes them feel better.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with you or what you have to say.
Come on, you guys are not being messy enough. I want to know who you talking about.
Do you know what?
You made me come out of my house.
No,
put on a bra,
like,
so you better get messy, you know.
Not the bra. We're gonna get messy soon with the awards. We're gonna get messy, but we mean like there's people on Twitter that try and come for us sometimes in our DMs. Sometimes they put reviews on like Apple Podcast. They'll put low reviews and say we said something, but we haven't said that in our episodes. And it's just these people that are just committed to maybe they just don't like us. I don't know what it is, but they're just committed to misunderstanding and why we have even built this platform in the first place and stuff like that. But we keep going, boy. We don't care.
Yeah, but that's a good thing. Wear it as a badge of honor that actually they're taking time out of their life, the 5 minutes that they have to write their little dissertation, that they're making time to acknowledge that you even exist.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that is very true.
Sometimes when people come for me, I'm just like, oh, thank you.
Yeah.
And I just have to keep it moving because, look, people will not always agree with what you do, what you say. We may not even agree on absolutely everything, and it's okay for that to happen. What we don't want to do is get ourselves stuck in a place where we're allowing it to play havoc in our minds. Our minds have already got so much crap to deal with, from the racism when we walk out in the street, to the sexism, to the misogynoir. So let's not focus too much on those individuals, especially if they're not paying your rent, your mortgage, they're not feeding your children, and they're not actually benefiting you in any way, shape or form. If you feel that you do need to respond to it, then I would say this is where communities are powerful. Why don't you say to me, look at this? And I'm happy to respond, because it's not about you using your labor and your energy. It's about how this collective voice comes together to show up and stand up and show out for you as well. And that's what I don't always see, because we're so wrapped up in focusing on the I that actually somebody else is going through the exact same thing. So let me respond. You know, I tell you, who did this? So somebody on LinkedIn, of all places, you know, they said to me, "Oh, why do you need to talk about being a black queer woman all the time? Why can't you just talk about LGBT?" And I was like,
was that from a black person or from a white person?
Okay, from a white person on LinkedIn. I said, you know, you'd be the person that say you don't see colour. You know, and if me as a black woman wants to highlight that I'm black because I'm so proud of it, then why do you need to come on my page and tell me that? So I responded, and then I stopped and Kaiser Rose jumped in and she annihilated this person. Then somebody else jumped in and somebody else jumped in. And you know what made me feel good? Is that I didn't have to use my labour and I could go and focus on something else.
Yeah.
And that's what happens when community shows up for you.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, let us not burn our bridges, even though we may not always agree on things. We don't have to call each other out. We have to be calling out the system, the patriarchy, this antiquated bureaucratic system which oppresses us continually. That's what we have to call out, not each other. So that when each other is having those moments where our mental health feels attacked, our bodies feel attacked, our minds feel attacked, we show up for each other.
I love that.
That's a word.
I love that because it even shows up in your chosen tribe as well, for friends, and that's why they're our tribe. We show up for each other.
That's been the most important thing and the most beautiful thing about being queer, I think, is because obviously, like, when you come out and sometimes your family just can't accept you, they can't get with it. You end up not being able to share certain parts of your life with them, and so you have to get this tribe. You have to choose people who are going to be around you that you can actually share your everything about you with, which is really, really beautiful. On our last episode, we had a guest who she was having an event and her parents said they wouldn't go because her girlfriend would be there. And it was so sad. It almost brought me to tears.
Yeah, it was really sad.
And it was just like that, being rejected from your family, the people that are supposed to love you, is really, really hard. It's a hard thing to reconcile. It's a really, really hard thing to reconcile. So that's why it's so important for us to show each other love. And that's why the thing we spread is go where love is. Like,
I think we said it in almost every episode.
We say it all the time. Like, we've been saying it so much.
Notice how all our body languages and how we just stopped to hold that moment for that individual, because we all recognise something in that. Life is about wanting to find a place to belong. It doesn't matter whether you think you're alone. We all want to find a place where we can belong, and we want to be accepted, especially by family.
Oh yeah.
And when they reject you based on their notions or ideas of what and who you should be, and want you to silence or erase a part of yourself, is painful. It really is. And that, you're right, that's why we find our home, our tribe, and our chosen family. And I guess for me, this is why UK Black Pride exists, because everyone that walks into that space, many different languages, many different shades of black and brown, many different ages, and how intersectional it is, we're also unapologetically ourselves, without judgment. We walk in, we laugh, we joke, we cry with each other, we hold each other, and we love on each other. But it shouldn't just be for a one day. It should be that continual, because we've got, little Bobby in Durham, or Sandra in Bristol, or people outside of even the London sphere who are lonely, who are isolated, and who are having to pretend about who they are because they're in places that don't feel safe for them to talk about being non-binary, to talk about how they may feel they want to not just transition but affirm their gender.
Just to be able to exist, wasn't it?
Absolutely.
Just to exist.
Survive and thrive, right?
Yeah. So does that bring us into the awards?
You really want to get in there, don't you?
Yeah, because I saw you tweeting today.
What awards?
About the LGBT awards.
I don't know. Minty.
Oh, now, is it? What is it?
Yeah, we can speak that,
I'm screaming.
Is it? Wow. It is well. This one's got chest infection, please.
Don't make me die today. But like those LGBT awards, child. I don't know what's wrong with them. Because I saw someone do like a thread about something about MI5 or MI.
Child, I don't know.
What? Yeah, I just saw that this morning. It's like, okay.
Do you know what it is? I think, as we said before, like, there are certain things that we don't have control over. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
There's certain
yeah.
things that we don't have control over. We can't knock on the door and tell this person, oh, can you make this change? Can you stop this right now?
Yeah.
There's just certain things that are it's just too big. But at the same time, like, I understand people and their frustrations, but I feel like the expectations is too much. I feel like when you're in the public eye, people expect so much of you, and it's very overwhelming.
Yeah, I guess
it's for you to talk about that.
Yeah.
I can imagine.
I guess there's a bit of like pressure there as well, because even like, so we've had Rosie and Rose on this podcast before, and I saw that they pulled out, so I wanted to actually ask them, so like, why did you guys pull out? But then they just had a baby, so I don't know about them.
What, pulled out of speaking on the podcast?
The of the LGBT. I think they were nominated. Yeah.
Okay.
I think they might have. I don't know. We don't know if they won, but they were nominated.
Okay.
And they put out a statement like 2 days ago, said that they've decided to pull out of the awards, but they didn't say why. So I wanted to message them to ask why. And then today I saw someone talking about MI5 being a sponsor or something like that. So I was thinking, okay, maybe this is why they pulled out. But like, I think that in general with LGBT awards, there's always something. Do you know what I mean? There's always some sort of.
I didn't know that they were actually part of the awards, which is really interesting.
It's so strange though.
I mean,
no, they did, it's because they didn't announce it. I think that from what I saw. Is there was a tweet and a few people saw it and went mad and then they deleted it, but this was ages ago. It wasn't recently, and then
I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and then now, and that, but I didn't know until this morning.
Yeah, I mean, I sat there yesterday and I got there late. Well, not late. Everyone else was just early. But
it's the Ghanaian thing.
Yeah, right. I was like, oh my gosh. This is really interesting. UK Black Pride win. What do we say? Because we're there. We're in that space. And I guess when UK Black Pride has told the Home Office to pull out of being part of its events because of how triggering it would be to our communities and those who have been deported, we continue to see go home vans and everything else which impacts us. Being in a space like that is also really triggering because you want to speak out, but you just said something. We are not in control of everything. We're definitely not in control of many things where those who hold power and influence get to have these big award shows and bring celebrities, whatever quote unquote celebrities mean, into this space. I think, and I'm saying this, I think that MI5 and things like that will always be part of the structure and be part of the system because that's what keeps the system going. How you dismantle it or how you challenge it can be through a number of ways. Protests, petitions, challenging it on social media. And, I'm not questioning who wants to challenge what on social media. I think that it's also about understanding if you are in that space, use it to your advantage and don't stay silent. So, UK Black Pride spoke up and we made sure that we mentioned Ghana, we mentioned Afghanistan, we mentioned the fact that we don't see ourselves in spaces like this. We don't see ourselves being able to speak on a platform, and we certainly don't see the money that's in this room coming into our communities. However, at the same time, we don't want to accept everybody's money. So UK Black Pride's been going for 16, 17 years, and we are ethical in some of our in our sponsorship, and we'd never accept from MI5, but we can't dismantle that by ourselves. And it's there.
I guess it's organisation by organisation.
Yeah. And we don't run the British LGBT Awards. Nor should we want to. We should be seeking to come together to look at not awards, but how we acknowledge our communities.
Yeah, we want AZ Mag to put that on. We're counting on AZ Mag to put that on.
So you know that there was a Black LGBT Awards 2006, 2007.
Really?
BG Mag and a couple of others, and I was fortunate to be involved, put on like an awards ceremony, and it was on the boats on the Thames.
That's nice.
Yeah, it was 2007.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So, we have the potential to do this. Where is our Met Gala?
Yeah.
And I don't mean a gala that's like filled with all these sponsors that are centering themselves, but where is our actual, let's show off and show out and just enjoy ourselves.
We're going to plan it. We're going to plan it.
Yeah,
we're going to plan it.
on.
We're planning it. We're going to plan it.
This is it.
One thing we're never going to plan. We're going to plan. Yeah, I think we should plan it for sure. I mean, I don't know. The thing about me and Nana was saying about awards and stuff is because we were really happy to be nominated for certain things and stuff like that. And then
then we lost.
we lost, but we were really happy.
You never lost because you know what? You didn't put yourself in that position.
No,
you
yeah.
already done know that you're winners in your community's eyes, and what you do is what you do for the community.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when people, you see, accolades are really, it's a strange one.
So interesting.
I don't feel that great about receiving a Lifetime Achievement Award because my work's not done.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Also, I'm not Stephen Fry, who's like 2 days younger than God. No, and I love Stephen Fry and Syrian McKellen, but that my work's not done.
I hear that, and also I think we was excited to get nominated because it was like our first nomination or what have you.
Yeah,
but
I voted.
Yeah, thank you, appreciate that. But when we didn't win, it was just we had to really, really think this is not that important. Like,
yeah,
we
definitely got caught up. We got caught up.
In,
yeah,
oh my god, it's an award. But then we
Yeah.
had to think it's not that important, not as important as
But
what we actually doing.
angry afterwards, frustrated afterwards because I saw the comments because some people had probably never spoken to you before, and all of a sudden you're in this.
Do you know we felt like that in the process, but we said we didn't want to seem, I guess, ungrateful for everyone that was voting for us, so we left it till we didn't even know win, child. So we just waited till afterwards because we were gonna say something before. We said, people are voting for us. People want us to win, and we don't really want to make them feel like their vote didn't count or we're not appreciative of their votes. So we just said, okay, let's just wait for it to be done, and then we'll say something.
So if you had won, would it have been different?
No, we still would have said. Do you know
what?
Yeah.
It's because it was the process. Like, okay, I would have accepted the award. If you give me an award, I'm going to take it. But it's still like just the way that they handled us, and I think they handled other people nominees differently than they handled us, and that's where the frustration came from.
Yeah, that is where it was. It was just, and then obviously when we spoke to them afterwards, and they said that it's because of they've got a small team and they don't have the capacity and stuff like that. We were just like, if
you're gonna put us there, act like you care, act like
you
put us here for a reason, not just because we're the only black people doing stuff or where there's a token. That's what it felt like.
But past some of these awards do feel tokenistic and very performative. That okay, oh my gosh, we've got to get Lady Phyll in space, or we've got to get you two in a space, and they put you on a table where you can be seen by the camera because then you make up the quota for who's not in that space. What I have learned over the years is that these spaces are not always for us. And I'm going to keep on always going back to UK Black Pride. UK Black Pride is a space for us. And if it doesn't feel like it's for us, then tell me how we change it. Tell me what we do differently. Entering into whether it's Diva Awards, LGBT Awards, I don't know, whatever other awards that doesn't always consistently center black and brown voices, you're going to be treated differently.
Yeah.
Entering into workplaces that don't have good policies around, racism and tolerance and acceptance, whatever that is supposed to mean, it will always feel foreign, alien, and isolating. Going into universities that don't actually want to teach you about the histories of us, but want to surface skim over things that don't speak to your experiences, it will feel odd.
Yeah.
So we create what we don't see. Go back to when I said, Dr. X, you cannot be what you can't see.
That's why we created the podcast, because we didn't see.
Right,
Yeah.
come on.
That was literally the reason why, yeah.
This is it. And, and this is the reason why I'm here, because I'm like, I want in on some of this. I just want to be in your company, in your space, because this feels like home.
Yeah, and that's what we want. We said we want to be a safe space, and we want people to come and feel free to talk to us, even outside of the podcast. We still want people to like DM us and stuff like that, and they do. Some people do. Their love problems, their relationship issues and stuff.
Controversial then. Yeah. Do you feel that you're open enough for people to come to you? Because what people say on social media, wherever, makes a difference about how people approach you.
I feel like in the beginning maybe we were more approachable than now. I'm not sure that now people find us that approachable. I don't
think that you've got more to say.
Do you know? I don't think it's even that. I think it's more like when they see that, we have a billboard, or Spotify has tweeted our podcast, and when they see that other organizations now are, I guess, helping to push our brands a little bit more, I think that's when people feel a bit more alienated. And I'm not really sure why, because I think the concept hasn't changed for what we do, and we haven't changed. We still have. It doesn't matter who the black queer person is, or any person that comes on the podcast. It doesn't matter who they are, how many followers they got. We take their story as valid. Everyone's story is valid. But for some reason, when they see those sort of things, I guess they're not as. You even see less engagement when we have these things online as well.
See, I feel that not you're more approachable, because I think that, as you say, your concept's always been the same, but you've opened up more now about the things that you're not happy with, the things that you want to speak out against, and the things that you want to embrace. So you've allowed viewers, listeners, an insight into who you are. Yeah. So that will either mean you're more approachable, or people want to know more about you.
Yeah. I do think.
And
I mean, you do.
Know, I actually genuinely want to know more about you two. About what was the genesis and the idea behind this? It wasn't just about creating a space where you could have conversation. Something must have twigged in both your minds about the art of language and wanting to talk, or something must have happened, because not everyone can do this.
People say this. But it's very interesting, because I wouldn't be here. I don't like being in front of the camera and stuff. Like, I'm just like more of a behind the scenes kind of person. But I don't know, when we spoke about it, I don't know why I was so down for it, because I
was surprised that she was down for it.
Not really,
this is not a bit.
It's not really.
But you seem so comfortable.
Yeah, I know, but it's just, I think it's just because these are the conversations we have anyway. So like, if the mic is off, there's no cameras, these are the type of conversations we have, and we're thinking, like, if we're having these conversations and we having these thoughts and feelings, there must be people who can relate, who are having the same thoughts and feelings, and that's the reason why we came on, because we just wanted to sort of reach out to everyone, because as you said, like, being queer, especially being black or African or Caribbean, it's very lonely, because more time your family don't get it, they don't want to get it, so it's like we wanted to be able to just be reachable to people, so we could relate, and people can, people come up to us and they're like, your platform has made me feel seen, and to me, if one person says that is enough for me. That is absolutely enough for me. I that's what I love. That's what I love to hear. Yeah. It's really, really important.
And we always feel like a bit. I remember I was going out the other day. It was the first queer event I went to since lockdown, and these girls just came up to me in the street. Oh my God, you've saved my life! And I was like, saving somebody's life. I was just like. And I was really like holding back the tears, because I didn't really. That's not really what I thought. Yeah. I didn't expect it. I just didn't expect it.
What you do. That's why I say everything matters about what you say, how you say it, when you say it, and how you convene voices and how you convene people. Because you do that. You do that so well and so beautifully that if someone's telling you that you've saved their life, that could have been a matter of whether they take those pills or whether they sit and listen to you, and it feels healing and cathartic and loving and all embracing. It matters what you do. It really does. So, thank you. Thank you to you.
We appreciate you. Really. We appreciate you. I think it's something that we're definitely only recently realising, because I think over lockdown we didn't see anybody or speak to anyone really, and we just used to come and put the mic on. We bought these mics at home, put the mic on, and just be talking. And it's not till only now that we're really noticed. Even today, this morning, my mum said that one of her colleagues listens to the podcast, but she didn't know that I was her daughter. And and then I think she showed her our billboard. She goes, Rose is your daughter. She's like, oh. And she was like, how do you know her? She's like, I listened to her podcast. She was like, wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love how you're both telling me about the billboard. All right, I don't have one, but that's fine. I can be happy for you.
We have to show you. Told anyone, like, you haven't
said it. We haven't even said it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So come on. Cut.
So,
I'm asking you both, what is this billboard all about? Have I come here to interview you?
I think so, a little bit. Yeah.
We love
this
it.
Is good. Yeah.
But so Idris Elba and his wife got us a billboard. Yeah. Yeah, they got us a billboard.
Yeah.
And it's on Cambridge, next to Cambridge Tube Station on Hackney Road. It's there under the bridge. And it's so they've got they have a brand called Sable Labs where they want to highlight different types of couples, and so ours is obviously a friendship. So they like the podcast, they like what we're doing. So they got us a billboard. That's crazy.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. They even sent us the video. We've got to show you the video afterwards.
How have you not been talking about this?
I feel like we have a bit of imposter syndrome. We definitely do.
And that's natural.
Yeah.
And it's natural. But, we're not talking about successes enough in our communities.
Yeah.
We know what's bad and we know what's wrong and we know what we're trying to fight against and what we're trying to resist and reject. But this is to be celebrated.
No. What we're going to do is we're going to go there on Monday with like our friends and family, all take pictures and then we'll do it, we'll post it. Because we didn't know that it was there.
We've only seen it in the dark.
We were also in the dark, yeah.
Let's just take it back a minute. Idris.
Yeah, Idris, yeah. Idris and Sabrina.
Just
both
fine
of them,
Elba. Yep.
Yeah, Idris fine Elba. We're going to show you the video afterwards. They sent us a video just to say thank you for everything you've done.
Oh my gosh.
And everything like that. We haven't posted it on social media, but we'll show it to you afterwards.
Yeah.
And yeah, like it's been good. So my mum has been sending it to everyone in Ghana.
That's amazing.
And stuff like that. And
we're using WhatsApp.
Yeah.
I get a Monday to Sunday godly message.
I've blocked all my aunties.
Do you know what? I blocked my mum before, and she said, why did you block me? And I said, because I can't read the messages anymore.
My mum wouldn't even know if I blocked her or not. She'd still find a way of sending it. Yeah. But this is, oh my gosh, this is amazing.
Yeah.
I'm so proud of you two.
Thank you.
Yeah, and you need to be proud of yourself and talk about it.
Yeah.
And
we're
even
proud of
if
ourselves,
anyone comes for you and like, oh my God, you're just showing off, you're damn friggin' right.
Yeah.
I'm showing off.
We should be.
Yeah.
Listen, Lady Phyll said we should show it off, so we're showing off.
Absolutely.
We're showing off. No, it's good. It's good. It's been good.
Proud moments.
Yeah, it's been good. And we also sold out our live show as well.
Oh, yeah, we did.
Yeah, we
I
sold
know,
out our live
I know.
show.
Twice,
yeah, sold out twice.
This is the one. Is this the Amazon?
This is
at South Bank or somewhere.
King's Cross.
Yeah,
Cross.
King's Place. King's Place.
So come on, you need to be telling your listeners
That's another thing. Even when the tickets were on sale, we didn't even really speak about it in the podcast,
And it's sold out.
and it's still sold out. We didn't speak about
shows
it.
you that
Yeah.
the following wants to know and hear and see more of you. Live podcast. Who are you interviewing?
So we have a special guest. We'll tell you about the special guest afterwards. That's coming on, but it's mainly going to be Remy, our friend, is going to be the host.
Remy Bird.
Yeah.
I think that they're great.
Yeah.
So can I make sure I get pronouns right? So I always call them.
Oh,
them.
Remy is she? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw her on one of your little Instagram live things.
Yeah.
Dancing around. I was like, I want to be dancing with you.
Yeah. Remy, she just great
I'm coming
vibes.
out with you guys.
You
once.
need
Listen,
to. I thought you was gonna go come clink, but you didn't come.
Clink, clink.
Yeah,
when we do clink next time, you have to come.
You have to be a special. Clink.
I'm
Clink, clink.
like,
Is
clink,
it?
clink.
It's clink.
We have to.
I feel like I should be eating Kelly Ready and peanuts. Clink, clink. What do you mean?
Clink is
Cheers.
like cheese in the glass. Clink clink.
Oh, where is this?
Well, we're not doing it there anymore. We did it in Canary Wharf last time.
Okay.
And it was like, everyone got dressed up because we feel like in queer spaces.
I saw you. Oh, exactly.
Yeah.
You've got to understand, I don't really have friends, and people don't invite me out.
Yeah,
they always
really?
say, I know that you're really busy, and we're doing this, and I'm like, does anyone want to?
But no one's actually asked.
Yeah. Or maybe you think I'm too old to be coming out with you.
Do you know what? Because Simone was one of our guests before, so she has a gay son, so she came to speak about her experiences with how she had to accept it and stuff like that. And how old is Simone? She's like in her 40s. She came with her friends, and she was like, "Oh, I'm the oldest person here, but I'm still having a good time and stuff like that."
Maybe I'll come with my daughter.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be great.
Yeah.
And your daughter has a song with Nina, and Nina was there, the last one. Nina's been on the podcast before as well.
Yeah.
So you'll be fine. You'll be fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
If I just get tired, I can leave her.
Yeah. The thing is, we have day parties. Is there day parties because we're tired as well?
Yeah.
There's a day party.
See, I really do feel like I'm interviewing you guys, and this is it. Who interviews you?
Nobody interviews us, but
To find out more behind the brains and the beauty behind whose podcast.
Do you know, I think when we go on other platforms, then they ask us questions about like why we started the podcast and stuff like that. So yeah, when we go on other podcasts, they do. And obviously so that's why we're gonna get Remy to host a live show. So it's gonna be a bit of a different dynamic this time.
Yeah.
So it'll be good.
And she's got vibes.
Great vibes.
Yeah.
Everybody loves Remy.
Everybody loves Remy.
Yeah.
And Remy's been on the podcast before as well. Yeah.
What's your favourite podcast out there?
Outside of this one?
Yeah. Yes. Okay.
Do you know, outside of this one, it's going to be Echo Chamber podcast. They just speak about blackness. They speak about everything really. And we were on their podcast as well. We've been on their podcast, and we were just speaking for time. We weren't supposed to be. We were meant to be for an hour.
Yeah.
We were speaking for 8, and we could have continued.
We could have gone on.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a good podcast. 2 black women, and they speak about everything, like from identity, politics, and it's just everything. Like, and they speak like they just like you. Like they kind of just like get you in, but it's also nuanced because it's their personal experiences that makes it that more special. So yeah, it's really good. I like that podcast, and it's British as well. I feel like I was gonna say The Read, but that's American.
Because we tend to always divert to everything that's American. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but so what's your worst podcast, or what's a podcast you've never?
There was a podcast that tried to get us on their podcast, and they're homophobic.
Oh
No.
yes, Knee Deep podcast. We're gonna say it is
now we're
Knee
getting
Deep.
messy.
Yes,
Now we're getting
Knee
messy. And this is a
Deep.
Ghanaian
And he's
guy.
Ghanaian as well. So it's knee as in knee. He's
And I.
and he recently he asked us to go on his podcast, but a year ago.
Yeah.
And he asked lots of black queer people to come on his podcast, but everyone rejected because everyone just knew there's something about him. You know when there's just something about
Bad vibes.
someone. And we all just knew. And then recently he exposed himself. He just was homophobic to someone for no reason. So this is why we didn't come on your podcast. Like this is exactly why.
Sometimes
We
your
just
gut
knew.
knows, right?
Yeah, we
What
just
to do
knew.
and what not to
Yeah.
do.
You
So
always
that
know
was
when
I would
it's
say
not
is the
safe
worst.
space.
Just because he's a bad vibes person. I feel like he exploits people. Instead of making a safe space, he's exploiting who they are
Right.
for listens. I don't necessarily feel like I've never really listened to his podcast because of that. But the little clips that I've seen, it's like almost like ask people to prove who they are to him. Like no, I'm not here for that one.
It's not only that, he's got a few allegations on his
Yeah, he's got a few allegations as well.
Like,
A few allegations with the police. Yeah, with the
Wow.
police. So we won't be going there. But
Never be going there.
but
What's
yeah,
your favourite
yeah.
podcast if you listen to podcasts? Because I've stopped listening to podcasts because I'm not commuting anymore. So
It's more of a commuting thing for me as well. Yeah.
So obviously, who's
Yeah.
podcast? And I would definitely say Busy Being Black.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh my god.
Oh, I'm Black Girls Living. I got to say Black Girls
Oh,
Living.
yeah.
Oh,
Black Girls
yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. I feel like when I say one thing or two things, someone's going to come at me because I forgot to mention them. They're like, "But you were on my podcast." So there's lots of
All the podcasts you've been on.
Yeah. No.
Oh no.
No.
Oh God,
not
you've been to
all
some
the
bad
pod-
ones.
Some horror
Yeah.
stories you got some horror stories.
We are not saying every single one I've been on. I went on a podcast, and I'm not going to mention it, but she spent probably 30 minutes talking about self. And I said, "Oh, what is it that you want to ask me?" And then she asked me a question and she answered it. And then said, "What do you think?" And then by the time I got round to saying, I think the question was just about, coming out. And I get bored by coming out stories.
Yeah.
And, tell me
Same.
what your coming out journey was, because mine was difficult. Mine was traumatic, and I have to prepare myself mentally.
You don't want to keep bringing it out all the time. Yeah.
Exactly. And coming out is not everyone's journey, right? So she asked me that, and then I answered, probably in about 3-4 minutes. And she said, "Well, it has been so wonderful to have you on the show, and I just want to give big thanks out to you." And I was like,
"That is jokes."
And that was it. It was over. And I just thought, that was probably an hour of my life that I will never get back again.
Was it over Zoom?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I was just like, you didn't want to listen. Also, they were not black.
That was going to be my next question.
Yeah.
I
felt you. And I don't really think she wanted me on the show to talk to me. She wanted to talk at me, and she didn't want to hear me. She just wanted to know she had me there and put it on her page that, "Oh my gosh, and Lady Phyll has joined us." Lady Phyll joined and said nothing. I felt like that little 3-4-year-old child when I wasn't talking.
Yeah, I'm scared.
It's hilarious.
But do you feel like that when it comes to like getting friends and people coming into us? Because are you a bit cautious? Like, are you just trying to use me because of I might have some connects or like stuff like that as well?
I'm a guarded person.
I can see that.
But I feel like you have to be these days, because a lot of people do. I mean, people crazy.
I try my hardest to see the best in everyone, because I believe the majority of us have really good intentions, but I don't need to build up my inner circle any bigger than what it is, because also that's Christmas presents, and then they have children, and then they want you to buy their kids stuff, and they want you to be godparents. Not that I love my godchildren, but but I am cautious about people's intentions, also those that just by close proximity to me feel that they can benefit off of UK Black Pride or what I do or the work I do internationally. And I, maybe I shouldn't think like that, but I've seen it. And some of it's really ugly. I've seen people come into the space that I've opened up to allow them to get to know me a bit better, and they have not respected boundaries.
Okay, yeah.
They have not respected the room that I've given them. They have added more injury without even knowing that's what they've done. And so I guess it's horrible when you think that people are going to be your chosen family or your tribe, and they don't live up to your expectations. And some people say expectations, this is it, this is what's dangerous, but you have to have expectations. There has to be a benchmark of what you're going to accept. So now I'm like, I've learned how to spell and say the word no. I've learned to say, actually, no, I won't be coming on your podcast, or no, I'm sorry, that's not for me, or actually, no, I don't agree with that. And that has been the most empowering thing that I've learned to do, especially over the last 3 years, because I used to say yes to everything to the point where you're nearly at burnout. Say yes to everyone because it wasn't about appeasing people, but it was about wanting to make it. It's about wanting to make some people happy. About where you stood on certain things, and podcast interviews, writing stuff, doing things for groups and magazines and corporates, which actually didn't sit well with me, but has it given me a bit of a platform that I needed to enter into other spaces? Yes. Have I sold myself to sold my soul to the devil? No, because I'm really, really clear now that I know what my purpose is and I know why I do various things.
Yeah.
So those that might come for me or say something, I know that before I leave this earth, there are changes that I want to see because it's that next generation.
Yeah,
it's that next generation. We cannot be so complacent. And if there's ways that I can boot down doors, be in spaces where, we historically have not occupied, then I will do that. It doesn't mean I'm selling out. I've been called bounty, coconut, every name you can think of. I've been slagged off by our own community, and then I've been hurt royally by people outside of our community, which I expect because I've got the body armor on for it. But I wouldn't expect it from you. Or from the rest of our community, because I take off the body armor and that's when I want to feel safe. But sometimes we don't always feel safe even within our community. So boundaries, expectations, trust is huge for me.
Oh, trust,
So my circle is small.
I mean, I hear that because it's even taken a while. I remember when I first came out and I was trying to I was just friending up everyone, and it just wasn't. When I say that the trust was broken so many times, I like confide in someone and I try to everyone knows. And I think the last time it happened, I haven't made any more new friends. The last time it happened, I haven't made any more new friends, and that was about 3-4 years ago now. And since then, the circle, I would say that's the tribe now. I would say that there's trust. I would say that I'm comfortable with myself. I would say that these people uplift me as well. But that wasn't the case before. And sometimes it is your own community that can do you dirty. Sometimes it actually is. But as long as there is love somewhere, just I would say, as we always say, go where love is. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I would definitely say it's not easy. It's not easy.
Be around people that want to uplift you and help you shift your crown, as they say, when it's tilting. You don't have to be around yes people because you want to be challenged. I don't want people to agree
Nana's definitely not that.
Yeah, right. But that's good. That's good. You know that she's going to tell you when you got a booger in your eye and you don't look good, or what you said was out of place, because that's about that correction and keeping you on your toes. But when it becomes malicious, vexatious and horrible, and it actually starts to wear you down, then you've got to think about, what is the purpose of that person being in my purpose journey? And I've learned that some people come into your life for that reason, season, or a lifetime. And it's okay to tell you that I think that you're my acquaintance, or actually I'd like to get to know you as a friend. Relationships, we manage relationships, right? Whether it's our intimate partner and there's boundaries set, or whether it's work relationships and there's boundaries set. So we should be able to do that in our life and our living and everything that we do, setting boundaries. Like, I should have told you that my boundary was, I got cut off at a particular time, but I'm enjoying this too much. So you know what? I'll shift the next boundary because this is important to me. But don't settle for less. Don't just accept what someone's telling you, or accept something because you think that, they've got a status or a profile. I will tell you now, whilst we're on air, correct me if you think that there's something that I need correcting on. Don't blast me on social media.
Send a little DM.
And just say, you know what, Phil, I didn't agree with that. Or actually, could you change that? I am so open to learning and wanting to be corrected.
I think it's important, people know that of you as well. Because I feel like people do necessarily feel like they can't give you they can't approach you, give you suggestions about Black Pride or just about things in general. So and I know, me personally, I know that you're approachable, do you know what I mean? But other people, I think it's important. That's another reason why I wanted to come on here as well, just so people can know they can come and actually message you.
Absolutely. I am not beyond learning, relearning and unlearning. The moment I stop doing all those things, it must mean that I'm dead. And I pride myself on really trying to understand where people are coming from. Unless your understanding of what you're trying to tell me is so far backward that takes us back into primitive years that don't make sense for our community. I want to learn. I want to grow. And we all evolve in different ways. So I'm saying to anybody, if you've got something to say to me, I am not unapproachable. You know, just come to me. Teach me, tell me that I misgendered or I got a pronoun incorrect. Those are the things I want to know. Otherwise, I can't do better and be better.
Do you know, I feel like people want you to like help get involved with what they have going on as well, but they even scared of. I think that's what the main thing is. That people want you to get involved with. Yeah, just come. Even like in the beginning, it was like, oh, we don't know if she's gonna come on the platform. Too busy to come on here, but we have to ask. You don't know until you ask.
This is the thing.
Do you know what I mean? You don't know. Even with your short film as well, and you know, like,
exactly.
But people are like afraid to ask. Do you know what I mean?
So I wonder what that is, and maybe, you know, we can find some time unpacking that, you know, at another point. But why are we afraid to ask? Is it something in our, not our DNA, but how we've grown up, how we put people on pedestals and give them
I think that's what it is. It's the pedestal.
And you know, I personally don't like being put on a pedestal because people can fall. My bum can't even hold on a pedestal. So it's like, just treat me as you would any other person. You know, when I cut myself, I bleed the same blood that you bleed out. So just ask me, correct me, teach me, say to me what's going on with you. And don't get me wrong, people approach me a lot. And sometimes I feel bad that I can't get round to everyone. But I am really approachable, and I'm a big softie, you know. I'll sit there and just watch Grace and Frankie and cry or laugh. So, you know, But this is it. When people don't know you, you have to create spaces where they do get to know what you also want to tell them. And this platform that you have, you're allowing people to get to know you a bit better. That's why that young woman came up to you and said, you know, you saved me. To keep on doing what you're doing.
It was a nice moment,
opening up spaces.
We're going to try to create lots of different spaces. Even the live show, we're looking forward to it because we actually get to meet people now. Because we're here talking the mic, but like we don't. When we put it out, thousands of people listen to it after we put it out, and I don't think we, even though we see the numbers on the screen, we don't personalize that number. But it's actually a lot of people. Do you know what I mean? And we want to actually interact with those people because not people not necessarily. They don't necessarily interact with us on the socials or do you know what I mean, in that kind of way. So a live show, let's meet.
This is good. That's going to be beautiful. It really is a live show, people in person. The engagement and interaction is going to be different.
I'm going to be very nervous though. I'm not going to lie. I'm really nervous.
What are you going to wear?
We haven't got a clue. We've left it till last minute as usual. We're going to have to go shopping at some point this week. We haven't got a clue. Do you know, I wanted to wear like a Ghanaian get something sewn. That's what I wanted to do, but I don't know if it's last minute now. I don't know any tailors.
I've got something I can wear if you can get something.
I got one. I got
my up and down. I can wear. You know, I can throw on.
I'm gonna ask my mum for one of her tailors or something, and maybe do that instead. But
when is the actual show? Because you're saying
Friday.
It's on Friday, so it's the 2 days after this comes out.
Okay, whatever auntie you're going to sew you something. You better be paying them double.
I know, because they'll have a pile of things to do.
Mum's got a friend called Akumya. I'm going to Akumya to do it.
But you will look wonderful whatever you wear. This is more about the depth and the conversation.
Definitely, for sure. But you know, it's come to the end. At least he hasn't kicked us out. That's good.
I know.
That's good. It comes to the end. So before we end let's leave on some like good news. So at what point in your queer journey did you say, yes, I've arrived? And how did it make you feel?
Oh my gosh. I don't think that there was one point, but every year at UK Black Pride, when I get on stage to thank my amazing team that helped pull this together, and I see a sea of black and brown faces and people dancing, that's when I know that our people are real and we're just in that space. And I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
Clicking my fingers, I'm crying, I'm laughing. Yeah.
You must feel like butterflies and
There's a
you must
lot
get
going on.
goosebumps.
I feel so many emotions because that space is occupied by us. And I know people are enjoying themselves. I know
we have to tell you enjoy, boy. We enjoy.
Yeah. I mean, I don't. I wait till the next morning and my ankles are the same size as my knees and I'm like, I need to sleep. But I look across and I'm like, this is beautiful. This is what movements are built on. And yes, we are political because our bodies are political, the way we're treated. So just seeing, you know, our siblings in the crowd claiming their space, dancing on their spot, drinking, celebrating, you know, holding each other, that for me is when I always say yes.
Yeah.
And see, again, there's no one fixed answer because I'm going to leave here today and I'm going to be like, yes.
Yeah.
Then I'm going to speak to somebody who's in South Africa later on and I'm going to say, yes.
Yeah, yeah.
So there are so many moments. The moment I'm filled with connecting to our Black siblings who identify as queer, whether the story is painful, whether it's celebratory, I'm like, yes, you know what? I know what I need to do. Yeah. Or yes, I'm so proud and honoured to be in that space. I guess that's what makes me me.
Yeah.
I love people.
Yeah.
I just don't need everyone around me.
Yeah. The same. Yeah. I love people, but okay.
Yeah.
A few boundaries here and there.
So I want to ask the last question, actually.
Yeah.
I normally ask this at the beginning because it's a friend of mine. We were talking about busy being Black. We always ask each other, how is your heart? Because that for me just tells me a bit more about how you're feeling. So after our conversation, how is your heart feeling?
I think my heart is full and like there's lots of things going on like mentally and all these things. I'm going to try and keep this short, but I think because I have so many amazing people around me, because people lift me up, like my chosen family lift me up so much. Like I never feel completely down. My heart is always full. And after this episode as well, like just meeting you, being in your presence, and just having a conversation. Just it just feels like we're having a chat, basically.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's made me feel really, really full. And I'm just so grateful and so happy that I've been able to have this conversation with you. It's been amazing.
Yeah.
Look at me getting all my eyelashes.
But I have a feeling of feeling a bit renewed because this week has been a terrible week for me this week. And if I've had a lot of anxiety this week and questions about where I'm going in my career, really, if I even want to stay in this career and stuff like that. And doing this is what I love. And doing this with you guys here today has, I guess, maybe just reminds me of what I like to do, what my purpose is, because I don't think my purpose is in what my career is. It's in, I like people, like you said, I like people. Yeah, I like touching people's lives, and I feel all of us here are doing that, and it's just been a reminder, and I'm just filled with love. And I was even dreading going out after here today. I was thinking, after the record, I just want to go home. But I'm ready. I'm ready to take the world now. I'm ready. I'm ready to enjoy the weekends now, and I'm just feeling renewed. And I feel like I needed this today. I do.
It lifted me up.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, this is so well, thank you for coming on my Tuesday podcast. Thank you. This has been a special edition. Lady Phyll interviewing two amazing people.
No, thank you so much for coming. Like, we really appreciated it.
You don't have to thank me. You really do not have to thank me. It's part and parcel of what we do. We're here for each other. We show up for each other. And I just hope I'm going to be invited back onto another podcast. I want one of those live ones.
Yeah. Do you know what?
Maybe.
This live show is the mini live show because it's part of London Podcast Festival.
Okay.
So when we plan our own one, it's going to be like double the time. It's going to be more people. It's just going to be exactly how we want it to be, because we're not running this one. We get to plan it how we want it to plan, but the venue, they even gave us the smallest room in the beginning because they didn't think that we could sell it out. We sold it in 8 days, the smallest room, so they had to double it for us.
Don't underestimate.
No, right? You just don't. You don't. So when we do it ourselves, it's gonna be what we want, like fully. Like no one's giving us open the door for us. We are the ones who are doing it ourselves next time. So next one, you will be there with us on that stage. You'll be there with us next time. But yeah, just thanks everyone for listening. Yeah, just thank everyone for listening. So thank you all for listening, guys. It's been a really good episode. Make sure you use the hashtag Tutu's Podcast in Conversation. Make sure you rate and review us on Apple Podcasts, and also follow us on Spotify. And until next week, peace.